Yo, what is up, dudes? What is up? We are here today to take a look at this, one of the new Relic Frankenstein series by EVH. It looks familiar, but different, and we can get into it. This is brand new for 2023. It is part of their Frankie series. Frankenstein series. As you can tell, it looks like they started to make a Frankie and just gave up after the first color. And it's available in the 3 Frankie colors: your white, your black, and the red. And much like the Frankie, it is a darker sort of like worn or aged, neck. But if you read the specs, it says that they're a little different. The this neck is a Relic lacquer. It's a lacquer finish that's been reliced. Hold on. Here we go. Right there. I guess you can see it there. If you look at the Frankie, according to the spec sheet, they say it's oiled, a different process. They feel about the same. I don't know. In fact, I could have sworn that this was going to be oiled, but they say it's not. It is lacquered and then reliced. Same tuners, which are EVH branded, but they're made by Godo. Same R3. It's a 42.9 millimeter width, so they use an R3. Floyd Rose nut here. Nickel frets, not stainless steel frets or anything like that. It is a dummy pickup, but unlike some models out there, this one actually can be enabled if it's much like the one that comes in the Frankie. It actually is a real pickup, and you can enable it. People have done it. They do like a push-pull, pretty slick, so you can go back and forth between the two without having to add a switch. So, it is a real pickup. Unlike some of the variation. The one I have is not a real pickup, it's a dummy pickup, but it's not made by EVH. The body is a Relic lacquer. It is I was going to say satin, but I guess it's more like semi-gloss. Or maybe it was gloss and they uglied it up a little bit with some relicing process. I don't really know. It is a low friction knob, which I like. It is the Wolfgang pickup, and much like the original Frankie, if you remember my review of that compared to the Stripe series, it is in that forward and slightly, turned orientation that I think makes it a little warmer compared to just the straight up Stripe series pickup that is like every other normal guitar, just sort of in line. This one is a little turned, and then that's a little signature Ed move, and I think it does make the pickup sound a little warmer, compared to the other model. The body is basswood, which is surprising considering it feels like it has a little bit of weight. I'll throw it on the scale, and you can see the weight on screen. And then lastly, it has the Floyd Rose 1000 with the D-tuner built in. So it comes with a D-tuner. And it comes with a bag. The hard shell case is optional. And the bag, which is right here, let's just say is unimpressive. It is it's in a very thin and weak, a very inexpensive bag. Quite frankly, it's almost an insult for a guitar that costs $1,700. Just could you knock a little bit of money off the guitar and not throw in the bag, and they'd be like, yeah, we can knock $10 off the guitar, because that's about what this bag is worth. It is it's a sad bag. It's a sad bag. I don't know what they were thinking putting that out. I think if you get the EVH Frankie, I forget if it comes with a case or a soft walled case, but either way, I would hope it would be an upgrade from that, which is pretty. I mean, I have like other Fender cases. In fact, right next to it, I happen to have right here a Fender case that is an infinitely better bag. It's not even close. It's not even, the padding is much thicker. Just everything about it is much better than whatever the hell this is. Which is, again, I cannot impart to you just how thin and non-protective this seems to be. It is, again, it's almost a little insulting to put a bag like that with a $1,700 guitar. I mean, I feel like that bag goes with $199 guitar amp and, bag special. But, they probably felt like they had to throw something in, and they probably just didn't have the budget. And so they found it literally a $10 bag, because that thing is really bad. It's not a good bag at all. But you're not buying it because of the bag. I don't think anyone said, you know what, I wasn't thinking about that guitar, but then when I saw the case it came with, I'm like, I'm in. That nobody thinks like that, right? It's an ancillary product, and you can always get a hard shell case for it. But it just begs the question with this guitar, and it sounds great, it plays great. I love the feel of that. Wonderful. My little out. It is a wonderful playing and sounding guitar. But I just have to say, if you're the guitar player looking at this guitar and you're looking at $16.99, why wouldn't you just get the Frankie at $19.99? I'm just like, who is this market for? For this guitar. I guess somebody who doesn't want to be completely closely associated with Eddie Van Halen, but I just think you're still closely associated with Eddie Van Halen and you have a guitar that looks like this. Right? It's not enough of a change from the Frankie to feel like a whole new sort of like Relic model. But it's not exactly like the real EVH. EVH never played a guitar like this. So it's just kind of a weird spot. I don't know. I'd probably I'm just saying as a consumer and a lover of Eddie Van Halen, big fan of Ed. I would, I don't know if I'd go for this. I'd just get the Frankie. And it just begs the question, who is this guitar for? It is a great guitar. Don't get me wrong. It's very well done, and it's nice, and I'm just trying to figure out the market. And I'm at a bit of a loss. Help me out here. Help me out. So in other words, I would love to hear from the guy out there, or girl, who says, yeah, you know what, I kind of like the Frankie, but it's too identifiable to Eddie, and I want something a little bit more unique. And this is right up my alley. It looks, road worn, and it looks, broken in, and it has, a certain patina and a certain look to it that I find attractive. And it's not exactly like the Frankie, but it's got, sort of the spirit of the Frankie, right, in it, with the carve of the, the pickup and the mangled, broken off pick guard and all that stuff. Is there a person out there like that? I don't know. I don't know. And again, this review is turning into more of a philosophical discussion than an actual guitar discussion. But I have to say, when I saw this guitar, it just begged the question, why? Like a great man said, before you wondered whether you could do it, you should have asked yourself whether you should do it. That said, it is a wonderful playing guitar. It does feel, nice. It's a little rough because it's Relic. It's not a super smooth like what would be dry like this, but a little smoother would be like a roasted maple neck, right? Would also be satiny and so forth, but it wouldn't be quite. It's a little rougher to the feel, but it's nice. It feels like an old guitar that's been played for years. The edges are nicely rounded. The fretwork is outstanding. There's no problems there. No problems with the electronics or anything. That the tuning's been a little tough because it's a brand new set of strings. That's always the case when you have a guitar for just a couple of days. But what mainly in the bag already, just opening the box and seeing that bag, it was already like, now we're off to a bad start. First impressions, right? It's hard to get over that first impression. But as I'm playing it and I'm checking it out here, I'm just saying to myself, why? Who is this really appealing to? And it's like, you don't want to say it's just like a cash grab, because I don't know that too many people are going to be throwing up cash for this. So again, I'd love to hear from people in the comments who say, yeah, you know what, that does really appeal to me. That is really sort of like what I've been looking for. I do want sort of a Relic-looking, road-worn instrument that has the overtone vibe of a Frankie, but not exactly like the Frankie, because I'm not really a Van Halen player. I'm trying to do my own thing. And I want something that's sort of like unique with the Relicing and all this, but still part of a larger family, the Frankie family. I suppose that person is out there. I don't know. Personally, if it was me, I'd throw up the extra $300 and I'd get the Frankie. And I love that Frankie. I had that Frankie here, 3 years ago now, 2.5 years ago. And I thought that was a great guitar. So again, it's a bit of a head scratcher as to the market for this guitar. But again, this happens all the time. I go on to some Strat forum, and people are like, show me your favorite Strat. And half of those guitars, I'm like, those are gorgeous. But half of those guitars, I'm like, why? That is hideous, right? So it's just personal taste, right? It's just what people like. But for full disclosure, I did not buy this guitar. This is a loaner, and it's going back very quickly. But someone asked me, they said, hey, you want to review the new Relic Frankenstein? I said, yeah, I'll check it out. And when I opened it up, I said, oh, right, these. Right. That's right, they were doing this. And I would have to take a look. I'd have to do a little bit more research, but it feels like the Relicing, unlike the Frankie, felt a little bit more machine than man. If you look at Tone King's Frankie, the Frankie I had here, and there was one other dude who had a Frankie, I forget who it was. Might have been Robert Baker, might have had one for a little bit. But there was like 3 Frankies out there at the same time. And if you look, the Relicing on those 3 Frankies was the same but different, right? They were very similar, but they were clearly not the same exact relicing. When I see these, much like the Road Worn series, the relicing is almost a little too close. Like it's done by machine and it's very precision done. Again, if you want something unique, that takes away from that uniqueness. So, you know, I'm a little bit at a loss, you know, for the market for this. If you want a great playing guitar that sounds good, without a doubt, you know, in terms of like playability and feel, you know, all that, that's all 5 stars, across the board. I'm giving the bag 1 star. That's so you're lucky to get 1 star. That's only because that's my lowest rating. I'd give you 0 stars if I could. But you know, the big question to me is who is getting this. So I would love to know in the comments if this appeals to you. I'd love to know your thought process on it, because you know I have been wrong before. Many, you know, you could fill a book with the times I've been wrong, but it is a little puzzling. It is a great guitar. I can't stress that enough. I don't want to coming off like I'm dumping on the product, because I'm not. The product is actually pretty nice, you know. I'm just dumping on its price point. If this was $12.99, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It's the fact that it's $16.99 that we're having this conversation. Right? If it's $12.99, I'm like, woohoo, you should just get one of these instead of spending $19.99. You know, they save a lot of labor and they sell them for $12.99 or $13.99. But $16.99? I'd go Frankie. Again, you're like, what, 85% of the way there? So, F sharp. It ends on F sharp. And I think about that for a second. So take a close look at the body there. I'm going in my close-up cam over here. Give you a good look at it. At the top finish, you can see it there reflected. Again, basswood body. It is, to me, when I first picked it up, I said, "Oh, this is an alder body," but it isn't. It's basswood. Right there. The old EVH Relic Frankenstein in red. There's the back. Let me get it up here. You can see it up here. There you are. It's one of these cams. And you know, another thing, and again, this is sort of the spec for a lot of EVH guitars. I like quarter-sawn necks. I think they look better, and I think they're more stable. Come at me, bro. I'm not a fan of the half-sawn. I just think the grain looks like crap. So I really like that this is quarter-sawn, and you can see it, and I really do love that. Get it down here. So anyway, give me your thoughts. I think this guitar, you know, the reason why I keep asking for comments is because I think the guitar is a little controversial. It's a bit of controversy, as my British friends would say. Because why? Right? I think that's the biggest question I have with this guitar. Why? It is a great guitar. it is a wonderful playing and sounding and everything guitar. I just think for me, being an Eddie fan, I'd go the 1999 and I get the Frankie. There you go. All right, dudes. I will leave a link in the description if you're so interested in getting one at Sweetwater. And they'll also give you some more information about it right there, too. So, there you go. The Frankie. Relic. Frankenstein. Not Frankie. Frankie's the full-on striped. The Frankenstein Relic series. Featuring the Abbey Normal pickup system. One Abbey Normal. All right, dudes. As always, thanks so much for hanging out. And rock on.